It is the big day. The FIFA World Cup draw will take place in Doha. 29 teams have already qualified, 3 are yet to book a place, but it is going to be an action-packed evening. Hello and welcome to News 9. I am Shubhayan Chakravarti, and to discuss and analyze the FIFA World Cup 2022 draw, I am joined by President of the League Football, Mr. Shaji Prabhakaran, and Hardik Agrawal, our data analyst. Also joining us via Zoom is Sandeep Mishra, News 9 sports editor. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. An action-packed evening. What are you expecting? I'll start with Mr. Shaji.
Hi, it's a very exciting day. And the world over fans are waiting to see which team, group and the combinations will emerge. And this is the day when you start preparing to be in Qatar. And that's it's a momentous day for Asia as well, and this is the only second time Asia will host a World Cup, and the entire world is focusing on this draw.
Absolutely, absolutely, and a momentous occasion for the Asian football community. But I'll come to Sandeep here. Sandeep, a lot of controversies in the build-up to this FIFA World Cup draw. We will talk about all the teams and players, but shed some light on this controversy, because Qatar, as we know, have been planning, have developed almost a virtual city for this Qatar World Cup. So tell us something about the controversies and the build-up to this FIFA World Cup draw.
think I think the controversies probably for the last couple of years have been, there have been headlines, there have been features, there have been discussions, there have been television shows all about it in Europe. I think the main issue was that how could Qatar get a World Cup? At the end of the day, I think a lot of people who do sport, who understand sport, also need to probably think in a lateral and a different way. And I'm not taking away whatever controversies have happened. I'm not taking away anything from, if I may say it, 6,500 workers dead, nothing I'm taking away. But sport, when it comes to sponsorships, when it comes to hosting, requires a massively big amount of money. And I think that's where FIFA and Qatar, if you can always say it in that sense, shook hands that, okay, fine. I mean, we'll give you the trophy, you hold it there. If you look at the size of Qatar, and you look at the size in terms of countries that play football in South America, countries that play in Asia, and countries that play in Europe, I think a lot of other countries were probably better qualified to hold it. But yes, at the end of the day, you take the controversies for a second and keep it on the side. Qatar probably has put up those stadiums, and I have been to a couple of them when I was there for some athletic championships, which are the Asians. Qatar is hosting a huge amount of events, which is just not the Football World Cup. They've also done the World Athletics, and they did it pretty well. So I think looking at the weather stuff that Europe is being throwing up, looking at the way Qatar has been in the media, and sometimes you do feel that, okay, fine, there are a lot of human rights issues, there are a lot of labor disputes that have happened, but a country like Qatar, how are they going to build those stadiums? Yes, in retrospect, now you can always say that things could have been better. But now that with the World Cup right at the doorstep, I think most of the countries will now, once this draw is done, I think a lot of things will start happening. A lot of people will start writing, which is more positive stuff about the football. And Shubhan, at the end of the day, if the skill and the talent level is on display in Qatar, then most of the people actually forget what happens.
Absolutely, and ultimately for football viewers, the football lovers, what matters is good football on television or on the stadium. So that we'll talk about the controversies part a bit later as well. But Hardik, where are the other 3 teams? We are talking about 32 teams, but only 29 have officially qualified. So where are the other 3 teams, and who are there among in the contention list?
Okay, so we will also have a country from Europe. Wales have qualified for the first round of the second qualification stages. They will either play against Scotland or Ukraine. So whosoever wins between Scotland and Ukraine, that team will particularly play against Wales, and the winner of that will qualify for the World Cup. So that's how we'll get 1 spot. The other 2 spots will be through intercontinental qualifiers. So we have a playoff winner from Oceania, from the Oceania continent, which is New Zealand. So New Zealand will be playing against the runner-ups of the two groups in Asian groups, which is Australia and UAE. So UAE and Australia will be battling against each other. The winner of this particular fixture will play against New Zealand. And that particular team, either Australia, UAE or New Zealand, will progress to the World Cup. And coming to the final intercontinental qualifier, which will be between the 5th place qualifier of the South American qualification stages, which is Peru. They will be playing against Peru will be playing against
they are in the, these are the teams who are in real contention for
exactly.
those the remaining 3 spots. Let me
Peru would be playing against Costa Rica. So
Costa Rica. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So these are the teams who are in contention for the qualification for the remaining 3 spots. I'll give you a simplified breakdown of how the spot system, the draw works before we dive deep into the discussion. So the World Cup group will consist of one team from each pot. So first of each team in pot 1 will be allocated a group. So then each team from pot 2, pot 3, pot 4 to create an entire group of 4 teams. So each pot will be emptied before the next pot is drawn, because they want to keep the transparency in front of the footballing world. And Qatar as the host have already qualified, but in every case the same confederation, teams from same confederation can't be pitted against the same team, barring European teams. But I'll come to that as well, Hardik. Why European teams? Why this exception for European teams only?
Out of the 32 teams that are participating in the World Cup, 13 are from Europe. Almost 40% are from Europe. So they are bound to take 2 teams from Europe in certain groups.
Yeah. So in all total 5 of 8 group will have 2 European teams. So that is the breakdown of simplified breakdown of the entire draw. But I'll come to the teams who have missed out. Shaji, there are so many big name players who won't be playing in this World Cup, be it Mo Salah, be it the entire Italian team who just won the Euro last year. So teams, there are players who will be missed in this World Cup, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The players we don't know, like even those teams qualified, their big players might be missing. We don't know, but the most important thing is the big teams like Italy and Nigeria. They won't be there, and even Egypt, who just played the CAF final, but then they are out, and even Sweden, which is not going
Ibrahimovic
to be there.
in World Cup, so that's
absolutely.
a big miss.
So but the most surprising part is Italy consecutively not there in the World Cup. 2018 they missed, and then they came back strong, winning the Euro, and nobody expected that they won't be there, and they are ranked 6th in the world right now in the latest ranking. But that's football, that's the level of football, and we every World Cup there are surprises who are not part of the World Cup, the main final, and Italy is the biggest miss.
Absolutely, and Sandeep, I'll come to you. Italy just won the World Cup. We covered that tournament with pretty good analysis and in-depth stories there. But Italy missing out on World Cup spot just after winning a major tournament, it must come as a huge body blow for Roberto Mancini and the entire Italian football circuit.
I think the body blow probably was because it was North Macedonia. It's a, Shaji is right. I mean, like these are not small games when it comes to qualifying. Qualifyings are massively tough, and sometimes if you really look at the history of the World Cup, you will come to realize that sometimes the and then this whole thing of taking for granted, okay, we are going to play Macedonia, then we're going to play Portugal, we're going to qualify from there. But the problem comes with this. You look at Egypt, and I'm a huge Mo Salah fan, and for me it was more like, okay, you go back into history for Egypt. When was the first time they qualified for the World Cup? 1934. A lot of fans probably won't even remember that. And then when they qualified back, it was 1990, which is 56 years. And now they are on the cusp of qualifying, and then they lose to Senegal, So And those moments, those pictures of Mane and Salah and, all of that. But the point here was that for me, it was looking forward to an African team, an African, or rather African nations, because Shaji would probably agree on this, that coaching structures have changed. Now, most of these players are under such brilliant coaches like Klopp and Guardiola and the others that their levels go up. So at the same time, the levels of the nation goes up when they start playing together. That is where you probably are going to miss an Egypt not being there at the World Cup.
True, absolutely, and that is a blow for entire footballing world, because as Sandeep said, he loves Mo Salah, and who doesn't, given his goal scoring prowess. But we'll take a look at all the qualified teams by region, because that is where the entire crux of the entire draw will lie. So from Europe, we have the likes of England, Spain, Portugal coming in. These are the big guns. Germany also there, so Belgium also there. So these are the teams who are heading into the tournament as the favorites, as one of the favorites or two of the favorites. You can see the qualifiers from Europe there. England are there, ranked 5 team. France again, a terrific team with immense bench strength. Germany is there, Spain, Belgium, Portugal, Netherlands, Switzerland, again a good team there. Poland is there, Robert Lewandowski, who doesn't know about his goal scoring prowess. Croatia, we'll talk about Luka Modric, arguably his last World Cup there. Denmark is there, and Serbia complete the teams from Europe. So these are the teams who will make up the European contingent for the Qatar World Cup in November and December this year. We'll go to the other regions as well. We have teams from Africa, we have teams from Asia and Oceania. We have so many teams coming in, and we'll now fire the graphics for the teams from Asia. Qatar, as the host, automatically qualified for this 2022 FIFA World Cup. Iran is there, Japan is there, then Saudi Arabia, also a good rising footballing nation there, and South Korea, Heung-min Son, you must be knowing about him from Tottenham Hotspur. So these are the teams from Asia, and now we'll go to the teams from Africa as well. So Ghana, Senegal, these are the legendary teams who have always been part of the FIFA World Cup circuit. Cameroon is there, Morocco is there, a good tenacious side, and Tunisia complete the teams from Africa. We'll go to North America as well, because there are some good teams there. Canada, as people know, Canada, Alphonso Davies has been making plenty of noise for Bayern Munich. They have Jonathan David as well. USA from North America, Christian Pulisic, Zach Steffen. South American teams are also there. So we'll take a look at the teams from South America, and these are the big guns, Shaji. Argentina, Brazil. Argentina not so much, but Brazil are definitely World Cup heavyweight there, right?
Yeah, now they are ranked number 1.
Yep.
In the latest ranking, and they have won the World Cup for 5 times, and there is great expectation after their thrashing at home from German team that still hounds them, and they want to come back stronger and go back with a trophy. For them, nothing less than a trophy will satisfy the Brazilian, and they are a good team, and they had a good qualification competition, and they are one of the strong contender.
I'll go to Sandeep from here, because Shaji pretty much summed up the powers and strength of this Brazilian team. But what about Argentina? I mean, one man after winning their regional trophy now must be eyeing that World Cup trophy, because Lionel Messi without a World Cup trophy just doesn't sound right.
It's if I may say, it's going to be hugely difficult.
Yeah.
This is Shubhayan. I don't know if Shaji will agree with me on this, but this World Cup is going to be decided by the youth. It's in the middle of the season. Number one, you're going to be looking at injuries that might happen, may not happen, which means for the first half of the league season in most of the top nations, you're going to have this battle between the club coach and the national coach as to how are you going to keep this injury, most of the top players injury free. And whoever goes through this World Cup, looking at the weather, this is not like a normal World Cup happening. This is just one little city which is hosting a World Cup.
Yeah.
It's not even a country. If you really look at, I think I was reading today about Gareth Southgate saying that the day they play their first game after training is that they're going from the same hotel. Whereas in the other World Cups, they used to go train in some other place, then go and stay in a hotel where the city, where the match was going to be played. All of that has changed. So culturally, psychologically, philosophically, I think a lot of changes will happen. So you just might see a surprise that some unknown team might squeeze through. And I'm gunning for it. It's time that, and I have these nice little arguments with Hardik that if Senegal wins, okay, fine, that's something that one can look forward to. But yeah, this is imagination. This is what sets the whole football World Cup rolling, because everybody then starts talking about their favorites. Of course, for all of us, I think for each of you, I don't know which team, but for me, it was always Brazil, that they are going to win. And I still remember when they lost in 82. I haven't gotten over it yet, after they lost to Italy. So for me, Italy going out of the World Cup is slightly a satisfying thing also because they beat my favorites. So yeah, let's see what happens in the World Cup then.
Absolutely, and it will make up a fascinating part because Argentine fans will be hungry for that World Cup trophy, but so will be European trophies. So Hardik,
and this could potentially be the last World Cup for Messi,
yep.
and he would be eyeing to lift the prestigious World Cup. And he has good support along with Di Maria, Martinez. They have a solid attacking line, and coming just out of the Copa America, winning the Copa America, the Lionel Scaloni managed Argentina team will be determined to lift the World Cup this time around as well.
Absolutely, and obviously European teams will be there because they are the ones who are dominating world football at the moment. But Hardik, take us through the pots at the moment because the people would want to know how the pot system is there and which team is in which pot, if you can tell our viewers.
Yeah, sure. So in the pot 1, the teams that are ranked the highest in the FIFA rankings, the top 8 teams are in pot 1. Like starting with Qatar, which are hosts, they are not in the top 8 in the top 8 teams in FIFA rankings, but being the host, they've got the top spot in the pot 1. Then we have Brazil from South America. Then we have European teams such as Belgium, France, again a South American team, Argentina. Then coming back to Europe, England, Spain, Portugal. So these are some of the heavyweights of the World Cup, and they will be in pot 1. Moving on to pot 2, the teams that are ranked between 8th to 15th in the FIFA rankings. The 8 best teams after the initial 8 teams in the pot 1 will be in pot 2, such as Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland, Uruguay, Croatia, USA and Mexico. Then the other 8 teams which are below these teams in rankings,
they'll move to
pot 3. Right. So we have Iran from Asia, Japan from Asia, then we have an African team, Morocco, then Serbia, who has a very good striker, 22-year-old Vlahovic, then Robert Lewandowski's Poland, South Korea, the 2021 AFCON winners, Senegal, then Tunisia from Africa. So this is how the pot 3 is so far, and in the pot 4, we would have 5 teams who are ranked below the teams from pot 3, such as Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, Canada and Cameroon. Then the winner from Wales, Ukraine and Scotland, and the winner between New Zealand and Costa Rica, and the winner between Peru, Australia and UAE will be part of pot 4, and that's how all the pot system will work.
So that's pretty well summed up about the pots, 4 pots that will make up for the draw. But I'll come up with an interesting question here, Shaji. Only 2 teams have won World Cups, FIFA World Cups back to back. One Italy in 1930s, then Brazil in 1950s and 60s. Do we have a repeat winner again in this World Cup?
It's quite difficult to predict, but France definitely has a potential.
Yep.
But then it's going to be tough because every team wants to be the world champion, and the competitiveness is quite high. And then as Sandeep pointed out, it's going to be typical, it's not going to be an usual World Cup, and the preparation time to majority of the teams will not be that much, and then the form and the how quick you can bond as a group, and how much time they will have. All that will determine, and then injuries will, and because it is just between the season, and the injuries will also play a role. And there are, many from now to, November 20th, lot can change.
Yep.
And that would determine, where we can really point out by 20th of November or 21st of November. Again we can sit and discuss that, okay, which are the teams likely to be, whether the France can come back, and retain the trophy.
Absolutely, and that's a very, very good point made by Shaji there. Sandeep, I'll come to you, because players will be leaving from in between the season. That is where, that in Premier League the clustered December fixtures kick in, whereas in Germany they start to prepare about the Christmas and the break. So how psychologically, how different will it be for the players? Because generally before a major international tournament you get a couple of weeks off, then couple of weeks of training, then you go to Euros or a World Cup, but this time it is completely different.
I think it's a once in a 4-year phenomenon.
Yeah.
So it's more of a mental build-up, and I think every national squad is going to be building it up on the side also. I mean, you're not only going to see the maturing of players who've played in the last two, maybe for those this is the third World Cup. For a lot of players, this will be the second World Cup, at least for the top teams out there. But at the same time, you also have to understand the maturing of the managers.
Yeah.
You look at Gareth Southgate, you look at the way he speaks now and the way he used to speak just before the last World Cup. There's a huge difference in the maturing of the team as well as the coach. But as Shaji said, the worrisome point is the injuries. I mean, you look at the English side, you have Kane, you have Foden, you have Rice, Stone, Grealish, Sterling. Just imagine if Kane has a problem.
Yeah.
Just 1 week before the World Cup. Imagine if Henderson has a problem.
Yep.
Imagine, 2 or 3 players and the entire structure of the team goes. So this is what is going to be a major area for coaches to take care of. That's why I said the club coach and the national coach, probably for the first time in the history of the World Cup, probably are going to be working side by side, ensuring don't play him in this game or don't play him in this game. If he has a minor injury, don't push him. But, with millions of dollars in the EPL or millions and billions of pounds in the EPL, how many club coaches are going to listen to Gareth Southgate, or for that matter, probably in the other team? That is the main area.
Sandeep, I'll cut you there because the draw is live for all our viewers. The FIFA World Cup 2022 draw has started in Doha. From Group A, we already have the first team, that is the hosts, Qatar. Gentlemen, this has started. I'll ask all our viewers to drop their comments in the comment section. The teams they are backing, the group of death, which teams they think will face which are your favorites team. Do let us know in the comment section down below. But it is starting, the draw is starting. Qatar is pitted in the Group A as the hosts of the FIFA World Cup 2022. Shaji, I'll come to you. We have talked about Argentina, we have talked about Brazil, France is there, but any favorite for you that you have good memories of watching or viewing as a team in past?
See, my favorites are always going to be Argentina. I've been since 1982. I'm kind of supporting Argentina, but then like many in the world would like to see a champion from Africa
Absolutely.
Emerge.
And perhaps we might have England lift the World Cup again, given the strength of their team, because they have been drawn in Group B. So England, Gareth Southgate, Harry Kane, big name players there, Raheem Sterling, plenty of superstars in their team. Can England win the World Cup again? And this is going to be a big team. And Shaji, we have your team here. Argentina are drawn in Group C. So the groups are have started to fill up. It's only 3 groups. Qatar in Group A. Then we have Group C, Argentina in Group B. England were there. So the teams are slowly coming in. The draws have started. Drop down your comments below. And France, defending champions, are there in Group D. Sandeep, early thoughts? Argentina in Group C, France in Group D, England in Group B, and host Qatar in Group A so far.
I think the interesting part is who's going to be at 2, 3, and 4 below these teams. I think that's what is really going to decide. But yeah, I think the dice has been rolled, and I think it's going to be one hell of a ride now. Up till the World Cup, especially in the next 1 hour, where once these teams are assembled, I think we'll get at least a bit of the puzzle right out there. What it's going to look like, at least for coaches, players, and every team out there.
And why not? It is the biggest sporting event in the world. It comes after every 4 years, and when FIFA World Cup happens, the entire world is hooked to their television. And there we have another heavyweight from Europe, Spain in Group E. Of course, we know what they have done in past. Absolutely phenomenal when it comes to international stage, but Spain are a pretty young side this time around. They are going through a bit of transition. Young players are coming from Barca Academy, Real Academy, Atletico Madrid players have started to come in space in the Spanish national team. So how are you looking at this?
Spain 2010, they won the World Cup for the first time, and definitely they have the talent, and they did exhibited. They kind of shown that again in the Euro, they could not finish it. But then they are continuing with the same side. The same squad, majority of them will be there, and they will be the one team to look into.
Absolutely. And Group F have another heavyweight, Hardik. Belgium have been pitted in Group F. Another power-packed unit, Kevin De Bruyne, Thibaut Courtois, Eden Hazard, so many big names. I can go on and on. Belgium, how are you looking at them in this FIFA World Cup, in the road to FIFA World Cup?
Belgium has a golden generation of players, and Roberto Martinez, their manager, would be eyeing to bring the best out of them. He hasn't been successful so far, but let's see. He should bring the best out of Lukaku. He should be on the goal scoring sheet, on and off on the World Cup.
And there you have in Group F, we have the team who have won the World Cup the most number of time, Brazil. The 5-time World Cup winners are there in Group G. And when it comes to Brazil, Shaji, there's always the flavor of World Cup. Brazil is synonymous to FIFA World Cups.
Oh, absolutely. They've been there, and then the whole, from 1930s to, every World Cup. And we have seen the magic, and Brazil has put football to that level, and there is great expectation since after they hosted the World Cup 2014, they kind of trying their best to come back to that level, and this is the World Cup they can really strike back and maybe look for their 6th World Cup trophy.
And let's complete the first round of all the group draws. Portugal complete the first set of draws. Group H is there. So we'll quickly take a look at how the groups have started to shape up. Group A, Qatar is there, the hosts of 2022 FIFA World Cup. Group B, England, another power-packed unit under Gareth Southgate there. In Group C, Argentina, of course, plenty of hopes lie on the magical man Lionel Messi there. Group D, defending champions, France are there, Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann, so many superstar names there. Group E, Spain, can a young Spanish team live up to the expectations of past and lift the World Cup again? Group F have the golden generation, The Belgium team, can they break the hoodoo and lift the World Cup? That question remains there. Group G, superstar Brazil team, the #1 side in the world, and Group H is started by Portugal. So these are the early rounds of FIFA World Cup 2022 draw. If you are watching our video, drop your comments down below and let us know which team you are backing in this FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Of course, let us know your favorite player, which is your favorite FIFA World Cup moment, and we'll flash all the best comments in our show there. We will move to pot 2 now, and let's see how the draws are shaping up. Of course, the first round of draws have been completed there, and the first set of teams are now waiting for the other teams to fill up the spot and complete the group stage there. Shaji, I'll come to you there. Portugal, another heavyweight side in this FIFA World Cup group stage. They are in the Group H, but Cristiano Ronaldo will be there. We'll come to that question. But Group A, the second team is there. USA have been pitted against Qatar. So interesting team there. USA, another rising footballing nation. Hardik, how do you see them doing well against USA?
There's Pulisic from Chelsea.
Okay, I'm getting something there. I think USA are there in Group B. So with England. So England get USA, and Hardik interestingly was saying something about England and USA before we went live. So what was that?
They could potentially play on Thanksgiving in the World Cup, and it could be an interesting fixtures for both the countries and for the fans of both the countries. So and Pulisic will be playing against England where he plays, so he would know a lot about the English football scene. That's what will help the USA team in playing against a solid England team who has a good squad depth, who has the likes of Kane. Then in the midfield, there is Henderson and even Kevin Phillips, Declan Rice. At the back, they have Stones. On the goalpost, there is Jordan Pickford. Then Alexander Arnold.
All the Premier League stars are there in that England lineup. But pretty interesting fixture, because USA is one of the fastest rising nations at the moment in footballing, world football, and they have some good players there in that lineup. Before we connected with USA with only one player, that was Tim Howard, but now there are so many players who have come in the European teams and have started to take the center stage, be it Zach Steffen in Manchester City or Christian Pulisic in Chelsea. And with Argentina, Shaji, Mexico are there in Group C. What are your reactions?
It's a kind of looking like Mexico plays like a South American team, and it will be very exciting to see this match.
I'm expecting
Argentina
plenty
versus
of
Mexico.
goals from
It will be an open game, and we'll see a lot of goals, no doubt. And Mexico is a very tough team in World Cup. They put more than 100% in every game, and it's tough for Argentina, I would say, because Mexico don't give matches easily.
Absolutely, and defending champions have their second team in Group D, and Christian Eriksen's Denmark will be taking on France. We recently saw what a phenomenal comeback Christian Eriksen made, scored 2 goals after coming back into the same stadium where he had suffered the cardiac arrest. So Sandeep, I'll come to you if you are there with us. France taking on Denmark in Group D. Okay, so he is yet to join us again. But Hardik, I'll come to you. France taking on Denmark, an exciting fixture again, because France play attacking brand of football.
Yeah, certainly. And I think that France should come out on top in this one. They have good quality in their attack, in their midfield. They have the likes of Pogba, Kante, who is the real threat in midfield. He's a box-to-box player. He comes down at the back, goes forward. Pogba plays good under Didier Deschamps. And then they have the likes of Benzema and Mbappe. Benzema is in phenomenal form, and Mbappe scored 4 goals in the last World Cup. I think so it will be a great fixture.
Great fixture indeed, and Group E has given us a blockbuster fixture there. Spain taking on Germany. Germany, again a World Cup heavyweight, I would say, but taking on a Spanish team. Germany itself is a young team going through a transition, plenty of young names coming in. So that makes up for a cracking fixture there. Shajid?
Yeah, exactly. You know, the four-time world champion Germany, you know, and they are in a rebuilding stage, and they will, you know, they are one of the kind of, you know, heavyweights, and they always kind of perform to the best, and they will like to, you know, make the memory stronger, because the last World Cup was miserable for them.
Absolutely. And Group F, we have another good fixture there. Luka Modric's Croatia have been pitted in the same group as Kevin De Bruyne's Belgium. So that is going to be a battle of midfield because Kevin De Bruyne is there. There's Croatia's Luka Modric there. So that's a straight face-off between two classy midfielder, Hardik.
Certainly, there would be a lot of duels in the midfield, and it would be interesting to see which team comes out on top. But Belgium also has the likes of Tillemans in midfield. Then Croatia has Perisic on the wings, which could be hard for the.
Rakitic is there.
Yeah, Rakitic is there, right? So Belgium needs to be wary of Croatia, but at the same time, one can't deny that Belgium has good manpower as well. They have Lukaku, who could be a real threat in the box. So this could be a very, very interesting fixture.
Absolutely. I'll quickly go to Sandeep there because Sandeep, we have had a blockbuster fixture, Spain taking on Germany. That is going to be a hell of a clash.
You're still fire for Germany.
Yeah, absolutely. Two young teams, plenty of great potential there on cards.
No, absolutely. But you know, again, I have my doubts about Germany really going deep into this tournament. You know, it's not about anything else. Sane has not really. I mean, I don't know what Hardik believes in this, but Sane really hasn't been up to his mark. You know, whether he was when he was with City or when he changed over. But Germany as a whole, at the end of the day, in the World Cup, they do come together. You know, that record speaks out there. But for the rest, I still have my doubts about Belgium going really deep. Eden's, I don't even know whether he's going to make it to the team or not, or even if he comes in, whether he's going to be playing the duration that he's supposed to play. But yeah, you got a great group here, Portugal, Uruguay.
Absolutely. Group H, another two attacking teams, Uruguay. We know Luis Suarez, Edinson Cavani, a good team who always punch above their belt. Shajik, Portugal taking on Uruguay, again a goal fest.
Yeah, see, if they continue to rely on Luis Suarez and Cavani, you know, they are aging. Yeah, and Portugal, you know, again they have Cristiano Ronaldo, but then they more rely on their young guns.
Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, so many.
So therefore, it's you know, Portugal has an edge over Uruguay right now if you look into. But then, you know, we are far away from to see, you know, who all will make it to the team.
Absolutely, expect the unexpected when it comes to FIFA World Cup, and drop your comment below because these are some of the early fixtures that have come in. They are very promising. They promise goals, and that what excites the fans there. Hardik, quickly, Portugal versus Uruguay.
I think that Portugal has a lot of good defenders as well. We should talk about Cancelo.
Yeah.
He fulfills his defensive duties as well as he moves forward and helps his team in attacking regions. So Portugal has a good, solid team, balanced team, and it could be a really good fixture for Portugal versus Uruguay.
And Group A have their third team as well: Qatar, Netherlands, and Iran.
I think Iran won't be in this group because as per the rules, yeah, it will be moving to another group because there can't be two teams from one confederation, especially from Asia and Africa and South America, and so that way Netherlands, you know, coming back to the World Cup, they missed 2018, and they are going to be tough for Qatar because Qatar is the only team who are making debut in the World Cup. That's the only team. and being a host, they will be under tremendous pressure, and getting Netherlands, it's they are also one of the giants of the World Cup.
Okay, Shaji, we have a confirmation. Iran is in Group B, so that
Yes.
confirms your take as well, because that the official rule-wise Iran and Qatar can't be in the same group. So,
But
Group
Qatar
B,
and Netherlands are going to have this really a hot-headed match, because Qatar, Van Gaal has criticized Qatar as a host. So you're going to have one tough game out there.
Iran and USA in the same group.
Yep, Iran and USA in the same group. Hardik, you would like to come in with your quick reactions there?
Sandeep sir would like to add to this, I'm sure.
No, we were speaking about this the other day, if you remember, that what happens if Iran and USA come together. So this is a great media opportunity for American journals and for Iranian journalists to come together and figure this out, who's going to win. But a little throwback, I mean, the 3 years or 2 years back, a whole group of heavyweight wrestlers actually went to Iran from America, and they competed at a very high level. So I guess sport is probably the only place where these divides can come together. So I think a lot of people will probably look forward to Iran and US, and this probably will set an example.
Absolutely.
Oh, you got a Senegal now there.
Yes, in Group A we have Senegal, Sadio Mane, Senegal joining Netherlands and Qatar. So Netherlands versus Senegal, I think it is going to be a good match.
African champion joining the Asian champion. Again, Qatar is the Asian champion, but then Senegal is a far superior side, and they have shown in the qualification and the African championship as well. They have players, and
they play hard football. They know how to play there.
It's really going to be tough for the hosts.
And Robert Lewandowski is going to give some sleepless night to all the Lionel Messi fans and Argentina fans there, because he's in a zone of his own, we can say. But Sandeep, Argentina taking on Poland in that Group C match, it is going to be a cracker.
Oh, it will be, because it also depends on the Ballon d'Or,
Yes.
This is where he's going to score against Argentina and tell Messi that he deserved it more.
Yep.
So this is one hell of an opportunity there.
Yep, and Robert Lewandowski will be itching to prove his point, because he has done everything he could do in the Bundesliga, but now it's time for him to shine in that mega event in the FIFA World Cup. Your early thoughts, Hardik, there, Poland coming in. But before I come to you, Serbia have joined Switzerland and Brazil. Serbia, again, a very good striker. Vlahovic is there. The midfield is insanely good. SMS, Milinkovic, Savic is there.
Tadic is there.
Tadic is there. Matic is there. So that's a good team there, and they will be taking on Switzerland and World Cup heavyweights Brazil.
Even Switzerland has
Xhaka,
disappointed Italy in the group stages. So it would be good to see how Switzerland plays in this particular group. They have Brazil as well. So Brazil has a good squad depth as well. And Neymar, who would be playing his third World Cup, won't be over the disappointments in 2014 and 18. So they would be doing the most to come out at top. And this looks like a
good group.
Good group, and Brazil has the opportunity to top it.
Oh, I'm feeling for the Tunisian team. They have been pitted against defending champions France, and Denmark is also a decently good side. So Tunisia comes in as the third team in Group D. Group D is also shaping up well. France fans will be pretty happy at the moment looking at that group.
Certainly.
So we as we take a look at all the groups and the early matchups there, I think the biggest clash, Sandeep, there is that is the match between Germany and Spain. But we have some other good games as well. I am expecting plenty of goals in this World Cup, because all the top strikers, the European football culture has been based around the striking zone. The South American football has always produced goal, and Japan joining Germany and Spain in Group E. So Japan also a tenacious side. We know what they have done in past when it comes to FIFA World Cup. Although they haven't won it, they hold every ability to upset either of Spain or Germany. So are you expecting any upsets there, Sandeep?
I would love the Japan-Spain game only for one reason, is Takefusa Kubo, 20 years old. He was 10 years old when he went to Barcelona's academy, and then he came back, and then he was in Real Madrid, and then he's gone on loan to Mallorca. So he's one of those players who actually understands and loves Spanish football. So I think Japan's got if you can't call it a huge advantage, but a distinct advantage, and especially when these kind of teams play, one or two players sometimes take on that load and they shine through and provide a victory or a draw. So this is going to be crucial.
Absolutely, and Morocco has joined Croatia and Belgium in Group F, so that also, I think Belgium fans will be pretty happy at the moment, and are looking the strongest team out of all the three that have come in the same group, Group F, that is Shaji.
See, definitely the Belgium is a stronger side, Croatia is a aging side, and then Morocco will definitely put a fight, but then Belgium, if they can, all the big guns what they got in the team, if they can click, it's going to be not tough for Belgium to through to the next round.
And Son Heung-min's South Korea has joined Portugal and Uruguay in Group H. So that I think that this group is going under the radar. This is a pretty competitive group there, Hardik.
Yeah, certainly we have Portugal from Europe, Uruguay from South America, and South Korea from Asia. So quite a distinct group, and I feel that it would be interesting to see how South Korea play against the likes of Uruguay and Portugal. But yeah, Portugal has an upper hand in this group.
Yeah, absolutely. But never rule out South Korea or Japan, because they always put so much of hard work on field that they tend to outrun or outclass, outmaster all their opponents there. So that is the third round, the third set of teams in all the groups. We'll take a quick look at all the groups, starting from Group A to Group H. So we'll fire all the graphics there from Group A to Group H. And then the pot 4, the final pot will be there, and then we will discuss it in all details. But let us know which group you are thinking is going to be the group of death or shaping like group of death. Which team you are backing in this FIFA World Cup 2022, although there's 8 months of time still left for the tournament, but the excitement around FIFA World Cup is unprecedented. It can't be matched. But Sandeep, I'll come to your favorite group at the moment, how all the teams are shaping up. I am a bit biased, so I'll go with my take of Spain's group that is shaping up pretty well. But as I said, Group H, Portugal's group, is also going to be a fiercely competitive group.
I think South Korea is going to go through that.
Oh, that's a big call. Yeah. That's a big take.
That's take. And the reason to say is it's only because of structure. Uruguay is a good team. There is no doubt about that. But if you look at Japan and South Korea over the last 8 to 10 years, you look at the structural formations that they have done. They have never lost games 4-0, 5-0, 3-0 like that. Even against strong teams, they have gone on and really done well. I think this particular South Korean side is going to do well at the World Cup. Number one, Asia. Number one, number two, the confidence. Yeah. And even when I think they lost their last game, I think Hardik and I were discussing that they lost to UAE. But okay, now that could be a blip or an aberration because they have been winning through. But in this particular group, you will see one of the top teams going out, and Korea will sneak through.
And FIFA World Cup has always given us such upsets there, be it starting from the qualifying rounds itself, as we were talking some of the big names, big name teams already not qualifying for the World Cup. But when it comes to the final World Cup of 32 teams, I think we have seen so many upsets. So even the big teams can't be complacent in the tournament.
Even that day, I think Hardik and we were discussing Algeria versus Germany.
Yeah.
I don't think he was born then. I was in school and we were discussing Algeria beating Germany 2-1, Lakhdar Baloumi scoring a goal, and I think it was Maher who scored a goal. But those are the matches that actually come true in some pools and some groups where one team will always be a massive threat.
True.
So I think you will see in this World Cup a couple of teams, or probably 3 or 4, who are going to beat at least one big one.
Absolutely, and I feel that this is going to be a possibility because from smaller countries the players have started to come in and play for the Premier League teams or Bundesliga or the competitive La Liga. So all the players are also coming in, and we were talking about the Bangladeshi player in Leicester City as well, who knew about him a couple of years back, but he's there, he's making an impact there. So all the smaller footballing playing nations, they are also developing some good players, right, Shaji?
Yeah, exactly. There are developments, but then again we have to keep in mind, in the last World Cup 2018, Asian teams didn't do that well. Except Japan was the only team which was through from the group stage. And there is expectation. But then competitively, are we ready to be at that level and make a big surprise? I think we are just another 4 to 5 years away when the competitive level of Asian football will rise, and then see 1 or 2 players playing in that top league doesn't help. We need to see more than 10-20 players playing at the top, and that is where we will have that confidence to say, okay, this is the World Cup where Asian team will going to surprise us in a big way. But then definitely we can see 1 or 2 surprises, but I am not sure whether that can be an Asian side.
Group A, Qatar, as Shaji was talking about, team surprising. Can Qatar pull off a win against the 4th team in that Group A? Ecuador has completed the Group A. So Qatar, Netherlands, Senegal and Ecuador complete the Group A. Ecuador obviously have Ener Valencia, their captain, their talisman, played for West Ham in his early days. A good group there, Hardik.
Yeah, certainly. And Qatar would have a hard time getting past Netherlands and Senegal. Specifically, Senegal has the likes of Sadio Mane. Then they have a very tenacious defender, Koulibaly, who plays for Napoli. Then Edward Mendy, who has been excellent for Chelsea in the Premier League. And there are very good players in the Senegal team. They recently lifted the CONCACAF. And coming back to Netherlands, they have Van Dijk from Liverpool, who has been guided by Klopp in the recent years. And he's quite firm at the he's quite firm at the back, and he manages the defensive line quite well. So Netherlands and Senegal are the 2 top sides, I think, in this group, and Qatar needs to be wary of them.
And Group C, Saudi Arabia has joined Poland, Mexico and Argentina in Group C. So that group is also complete. I think Argentina fans, Shaji, you are an Argentine fan. You will be extremely happy.
From this group, Argentina, Mexico will go through, because Poland, Lewandowski is the only force there, and he doesn't get the kind of support what he gets at Bayern Munich. Therefore, for me, it's a clear choice there. Argentina going to be top of the pool in this group, and then Mexico will qualify with Argentina.
Sandeep, we were talking about upsets. Can Saudi Arabia pull at least one historical win from this group? What do you think? This is a good competitive group, but Argentina, Mexico definitely hold the advantage here.
I think the only chance probably Saudi Arabia might have is Poland. That's the only one that they can probably pull off. And if you go back into the way Mexico plays, I mean, they do press extremely hard, but they do sometimes also have a very fragile defense, when it comes to counters. Those are the areas where, Saudi Arabia might pull through. So that word might has to come in a little more frequently when it comes to Saudi Arabia. Otherwise, as Shaji says, Argentina and Mexico, if they go with form and potential.
And Group G is also complete now. Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia and Cameroon joins these 3 teams in the Group G. Another good group. Brazil fans would be delighted. Switzerland and Serbian fans, even Cameroonian fans would be thinking, okay, do we have a chance there? What do you think, Hardik?
A lot of good forwards in these teams, I must say. Brazil has Vinicius Junior, Neymar. Serbia, as we were talking about, Vlahovic. Cameroon, Abubakar. So we can expect a lot of groups.
Xherdan Shaqiri from Switzerland is there.
Yeah, Shaqiri, he would be a real menace on the wings. So we could expect a lot of goals from matches in this particular group.
Absolutely, and that's a good, fascinating group. And Group H has been completed by Ghana. Portugal, Uruguay, South Korea and Ghana have completed the Group H. So gentlemen, we have all the groups there, and all the groups have been completed. We'll quickly take a look at all the groups before we start up our analysis on it. Belgium, Croatia, Morocco, Canada in Group F. So Canada, Alphonso Davis is there, who has been making some serious noise in his Bayern Munich jersey. Can he do the same in the FIFA World Cup stage? It's going to be a huge thing for the talent there. But Canada coming in and completing Group F. Sandeep, you would like to come in? Canada, Morocco, Croatia, Belgium. Of course, Belgium will be the top favorites to talk.
Extremely tough for Canada because, I mean, of course, I mean, the moment they qualified, I mean, those celebrations were virtually that they had entered the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the World Cup. But that's understandable, you know, for a country that's, you know, that's lacking success at that level.
Yeah.
But going beyond the group stage is extremely difficult for them. I don't see Canada really going through unless something extraordinary happens, and the way we spoke about injuries or something. But even with injuries, a couple of them, you know, to the top teams, I don't see Canada really doing much there. But progressing till here has been a massive thing for them because it's going to improve football back out in Canada.
Absolutely. So far, the only push Canada had were the names Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David doing well. But this team, we saw what happened with Haiti back in the past when they qualified, when they broke through for the FIFA World Cup, and there was a huge boost in terms of popularity of football in the nation, and hopefully FIFA World Cup 2022 will do the
But I don't
same.
know if Hardik probably has some, you know, knowledge about what Morocco probably is going to do, because I mean, you can't look beyond Belgium, Croatia here right now.
Yep.
I mean, they are the ones who will probably slip through easily unless, you know, Morocco really comes up and does something. But that seems a little difficult.
Yeah,
it could be a difficulty for the Moroccan team because the players that there are in Belgium and Croatia, it won't be easy for them to get past them. They have quite set team. They play in the European leagues. There is good chemistry among them, so it won't be easy for them, I guess.
So we have all the groups there. Let's take a look at all the groups and start our discussion there. And do let us know which group you think is the toughest out there, which encounter you think will be the most promising ones from the group stages. As a group stage of 2022 Qatar World Cup, here is the Group A: Qatar, Netherlands, Senegal, Ecuador. Shaji, your initial two teams from this group.
Yeah, I see Netherlands and Senegal going past, qualifying from this group. Qatar, Ecuador will fight for the third place, and that's what my take.
And Hardik?
Qatar has been appointing a lot of good coaches from Europe for this particular World Cup, and they are also the hosts, so they will have the home support. So anything can happen, but as Shaji said, Netherlands and Senegal are the two favorites from this one.
Absolutely. And Group B is also pretty interesting because England are going to take on USA. Of course, England are the top favorites to qualify and top the group as well. Iran is the third team, and of course the group will be completed after the completion of the European playoffs. So
we could potentially have Wales there, you know.
Yep,
England
absolutely.
and Wales playing against each other. That could be a good fixture. Then Scotland is also there in contention. So we could expect two teams from UK in that particular group.
And Group C also, Argentina, Mexico is there, Poland is there, Saudi Arabia is there. Shaji, I think Poland and Mexico in all probability. Even Mexico, I would still say, are the favorites to be second in this group.
Yes, Argentina and Mexico looks clear favorite in this group.
Absolutely. And let's move to Group B there, because that is one group I am looking forward personally to watch out for. Of course, all eyes will be on France, the defending champions, after they took the world apart in the previous edition. Of course, Christian Eriksen's Denmark is there. Perhaps the entire world will stand and give a rousing ovation to Christian Eriksen when he takes the field for the FIFA World Cup after what happened in the last year. But Tunisia also come in as the third group, and of course the IC Playoff 1 will decide the fourth team there. Group E is going to be interesting because Spain are taking on Germany. So these are the two teams that in all probability will battle for the top two spots. But Japan are there. Japan, with their tenacity, can they pull off an upset? We are going to see that in November in Qatar, and IC Playoff 2 will complete this Group E, and Group F we have Belgium, Croatia, Morocco and Canada. So Belgium fans, Croatian fans, you can celebrate till the start of the World Cup, because this looks like a pretty cakewalk for them. But in World Cup, you can never say never. Maybe Morocco can bring a surprise. Maybe Canada, out of all the teams, can pull off a draw or a memorable win. Group G is going to be a fiercely competitive one. Is this the group of death? What do you think? Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia, and Cameroon?
No, absolutely. It's not a group of death. You know, Brazil is clear favorite here. The fight is for the second place. Yeah, there is a clear fight.
So Switzerland, Serbia, and Cameroon.
Very difficult to point out who can be the second team in this group.
Sandeep, you would like to come in, because Switzerland, Serbia, Cameroon, all fiercely competitive team, have done well in past as well.
I think let's pick Cameroon for that.
So that's a pretty short and crisp reply there. Group H, as we are seeing, Portugal, Uruguay, South Korea and Ghana. Again, South Korea and Ghana might not look as strong as on paper, but they are definitely going to be then and there when they take on Portugal and Uruguay. And perhaps Uruguay being an aging side, they might.
I'll pick in this group Ghana, Portugal to top the the group, and then Ghana to be the second.
Ghana is second is a pretty interesting pick. So we have an early prediction here. Do you agree with it or not? Let us know in comment section, because Ghana, they have powerful midfielders, they have powerful wingers, but can they pull off an upset against Luis Suarez, Edinson Cavani, the heavyweights of European football? And when they play in that Uruguayan international jersey, Sandeep, they are a different beast, because they play with a very conservative style, but they know they have top two strikers there with Cavani and Suarez up there, who can give you goals at any minute in those 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's coming down to Qatar. It's coming down to where the World Cup is going to be held. It's completely, you know, everything is pointing towards that. I mean, you're going to hold your nerve. You're going to be acclimatizing to a country which, you know, you normally don't go to, even for holidays. Probably Dubai is the nearest that most teams or club teams go. I think it's really coming down to the wire for most teams. And sometimes, like, if you see the last, I mean, I'm digressing here. If you see the last Formula One that was held in Saudi Arabia, and how Hamilton reacted, you know, emotionally wanting to get out of the country. One loss, one big team loses their first game or even draws their first game, it's going to be mentally tough for the coach, for the entire staff to bring that team back.
Yeah.
You know, that is what Qatar is going to offer to you. That is what they as a country is going to offer, not in any negative terms, but this is one bastion, this is one area where most teams have never played. So understand from that perspective that most of these guys, when they come there, they are newcomers. So Foden, and you can talk about any of these big players, a little bit here and there, and the team can collapse and crumble. So these are the big points that we need to also look at.
Absolutely, and I feel the weather is going to play an important role as well. Although it is going to take place in November and December, the entire football calendar has been rejected for this World Cup. But still, I think even in the evening matches, I think weather is going to play some sort of role.
But also understand that these are air-conditioned stadiums.
Yeah.
So the temperatures is going to be 24, 25 in each of these areas.
But the way teams live in their hotel, the way they travel, I think some sort of psychological tinge will be there in terms of weather and going to a different place like Qatar, where you know
it's not a comfort factor. It's really not a comfort factor for a lot of teams, but it could be comfort factors for most Asian teams, because at the end of the day, the way psychologists try and move around you is that you're playing in your backyard. This is Asia, so that 5%, 10% chance, and in a close game that goes to the 80th and the 85th minute, 5% chance is a massive chance at that time.
Absolutely. I'll go to Shaji there because you just spoke about the Asian teams and the conditions there. We have 5 teams this time in the FIFA World Cup. Do you certainly feel one of them can go on and qualify to the knockouts?
We might have 6 as well if the Australia or UAE goes through from playoff. But I unlikely see that happening. You know, because of pandemic, a lot of plans of Asian teams and the competitive environment got hampered, and Europe was not that,
Yeah.
or South America was not that, and that is where I am not prepared to be loud and say that this is going to be Asia's World Cup.
Yeah.
So no doubt, Asia is hosting it. Is a great honor for Asia. But then we are not yet ready to challenge those top 10 teams in the world.
That's a stark reality. That's a fair assessment of how the reality is at the moment in Asian football. But this World Cup, I am going to be extremely heartbroken after the end of World Cup. Be it their thousands of goals or hundreds of terrific saves, but I am going to be heartbroken because of one thing: Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. It is going to be an end of an era. 5 World Cups. Hardik, you have seen Ronaldo and Messi at their peak, taking ripping teams apart literally for more than a decade. But this World Cup brings everything to an end.
Yeah, certainly, and this will be very important for both the star players.
Yeah.
They would be giving their best, they would be motivating their teammates, and both the players, I think so, haven't been so good in the last season. They haven't been at par what they used to be. So it would be exciting to see how their performance unfolds till the end of the year and how they play in the World Cup. But considering it's a big tournament, they would put everything online.
Absolutely.
And we could see the best of Messi and Ronaldo, which everyone expects and wants to see. So yeah, this will be the last World Cup for them, but there could be a lot in store for the fans.
Absolutely. And Sandeep, not only Ronaldo and Messi, I mean, we have so many players who will be playing their last World Cup, be it Germany's Manuel Neuer, excellent, I think one of the finest goalkeepers the footballing world has ever seen. Croatian maestro, midfield maestro, Luka Modric, I think will be playing his last World Cup as well. So these are the fading stars, I would say, who are going to be at the end chapter of their international careers.
Hardik said it in a very different manner, that for Ronaldo and Messi, they need to take their game up a little. It's difficult for them to take it up, but I'll draw a parallel from cricket. 2011, you had Tendulkar wanting that World Cup. The rest of the entire team chipped in, and then they won the World Cup. I think the team needs to come together, whether it's the Portuguese or whether it's the Argentinians, to give these guys, a send-off, which means holding the World Cup. Looks extremely difficult because football is a completely different game, even though I draw a parallel with 2011. But you never know. You never know what happens in a knockout. You never know what happens in a semi-final if they can reach that. So, yeah, I mean, for all of us who have been watching Ronaldo, who've been watching Messi, who've seen the brilliance of these guys, it should end in a World Cup, holding the trophy out there. But yeah, what we say and what happens, sometimes there's a huge difference anyway.
Absolutely, and I mean every footballing fans, true footballing fans who have witnessed the madness of Ronaldo and Messi in La Liga, then in Premier League, Messi going to PSG and all of that, I think everyone will be thinking, okay, let's have a last dance and let's see whether they can win the ultimate trophy in footballing world. They have done, Ronaldo have lifted the Euro, Messi got his dream fulfilled by lifting the Copa America, but World Cup is World Cup. There's no comparison to that. But we'll take a quick look at all the groups there and we'll discuss which is the most interesting group there, and drop down your comments in the comment section because we are going to analyze everything in 5 minutes. So let's take a look at the starting from the group A, the group where Qatar has been pipped along with Netherlands, Senegal and Ecuador. Shaji has already said that he is expecting Senegal and Netherlands to qualify from this team. But Hardik, I certainly feel Ecuador are going to give a tough fight to either of Senegal or Netherlands there.
Yeah, as we have been discussing that any of the underdogs could create problems for big teams here, and come at the day, come at the match, anything could happen.
True.
So
True, and Group B also shaping up pretty nicely. England, USA, Iran, and one team from the European playoff. It could be Wales, it could be Scotland.
It could even be Ukraine.
It could be Ukraine, who are going through a very tough time right now. And Argentina, Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia completing the Group C. This is the group where Lionel Messi will be in action against Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia. So a very interesting group, and Argentina fans will be happy at the moment, like Shaji is in our studio right now. For France, Denmark, Tunisia, and one from Intercontinental Playoff will complete Group D. Group D, one from Australia or UAE are going to come in from. Or Peru from that from the IC playoff one and complete the Group D there. And Group E have the most interesting, in my opinion, it is going to be the most interesting group clash. Spain taking on Germany. Then you have a tenacious team in Japan. IC playoff 2 teams. Costa Rica will be there, or New Zealand. One of Costa Rica or New Zealand is going to complete that team. And Group F, another fiercely competitive group between Belgium and Croatia. These two teams are going to battle for that top spot, but they have Morocco and Canada as the other competitors from that Group F as well. Group G, Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia, and Cameroon. One of the most toughest group in my opinion, because Brazil sure shot are going to be the favorite for the top spot, but who is going to take that second place? That is going to be a fascinating battle on card come November and December in Qatar. And let's take a look at Group H as well, where the European champions Portugal have been pipped against Uruguay, South Korea, and Ghana. Another fiercely competitive group, because against an aging Uruguayan side, who knows, South Korea or Ghana might pip a surprise there. But we have taken a look at all the groups. Shaji, I'll come to you. Which is the most interesting group according to you?
See, the first time I see, there is literally, you can't say that there is a group of death. Yeah, but then anything which comes close is a Group H.
Yeah,
where still you can, if Portugal, like in Euro, if they have such bad games, we can expect that after the first game, we will see a group of death emerging. And that can happen to other group, but then this Group H is most likely that group. Rest, it's very clear cut. And Qatar, the Group A, like they will be putting their best effort.
Absolutely.
And the advantage they have as a Qatar, their players are not playing in Europe. They will absolutely put their team together for next as long as possible, and they will play maximum number of friendly games, and they to be competitive. But still, this 8 months won't be enough to challenge those big guns.
Absolutely. And Group C, again, Shaji's favorite team Argentina is there, along with Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia. Of course, a huge opportunity for Saudi Arabia to make an impact, or at least announce themselves in the world stage. France, the defending champions, start the Group D along with Denmark, Tunisia, and one from IC Playoff 1. Hardik, Denmark and France, the two favorites to qualify from this group?
Yeah, I think so. France as a solid team, as we were discussing, they could top this group easily, I guess. It won't be much of a problem for the defending champions to top this group. Then Denmark has good defender Simon Kjær, then the midfielder Eriksen. So they have a lot of experience in their squad, and they also have Christensen from Chelsea. So together they can do wonders, but it would be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Absolutely. And Group E, Spain, Germany, Japan, and one from IC Playoff 2. Spain and Germany, one of the most mouth-watering fixtures from this group stage action in Doha, that will take place in November and December. But Spain and Germany, two young teams, two teams in transition. Can they pull off a surprise in this FIFA World Cup 2022. It remains to be seen. Group F, Belgium, Croatia, Morocco and Canada complete the Group F. Belgium and Croatia are the favorites to take on to qualify from the Group F. But do let us know your thoughts and comments as well, because we are going to put up the best comments in our analysis show as well. Group G, Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia and Cameroon are the Group H, Group G team, and Group H is Portugal completing the group. Sandeep, I'll quickly come to you. The most interesting group according to you there?
I think for me, it's going to be the Japan group. I'm really looking forward to the football out there. Also, I mean, just to put in a fantasy team in, I know it's not possible, but it would have been great, fantastic, lovely to have Spain and Wales in the same group. It would have been one of those, Bale versus Spain, as you call it. But those things don't happen. But this is one group that I think we might just have a lot of fireworks here. I agree with Shazi when it comes to that, you really don't have a clear favorite. But in this World Cup, if you really go deep into it, you probably have never seen so many dark horses, It's just not very clear right at the top. You may have 2-3 teams which we feel are very strong because of the history they have, because of the leagues that they are in. But the dark horses, I think, might just pull through. You just might have a couple of surprises in most of the groups out here.
True, and these are some of the groups we have already discussed, and some of the groups have already taken a shape, and we already have a clear cut favorites from those groups. But there are some groups where
and just to butt in, and I think Europe probably is afraid of this. These surprises that are going to happen in Qatar.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff that they don't talk in the media, I think this is one of them, that we probably might be surprised out there, and that is not good when we go to Qatar. I think this is what is going to be one of the points.
And that's a very good point.
We should not discount one factor, that would play a bigger role, how all these European sites and South American sites will get the support, if those fans going to travel with that high number, and if they do so, then the environment is there for them to really put their best foot, and if that doesn't happen, then the team gets into pressure. And that is where if the big teams are used to playing with big support, and that is one challenge, but we have to wait and see, because South Americans definitely going to travel, but then again we are in a situation where how COVID is going to play a role, if there are going to be a 4th wave or a 5th wave, what we don't know.
And how the Qatar government is going to plan up things when Iran takes on USA. That is going to be another interesting contest because of all the off-field controversies and their history. Iran and USA will be a fixture to watch out for. What's this, Sandeep?
Well, just taking up from what Shazi said, most of the European sites can take our support because we have 10,000 fans flying. So, it's already there. So, India is very well versed, to support England. But, that's an extremely good point, because Three Lions and all of these fan clubs that normally travel with England, you're not going to see so many of them in Qatar. And most of them have been very vocal and very open about it. So this is one huge chunk that's probably going to go away from Europe. And that's not only a huge chunk, it psychologically affects every team in a World Cup.
Yeah, and we saw so many fans, so many top players from Premier League. They complained when the matches were being held behind closed doors during the pandemic. Said it's almost playing like in a dead field where you have not a single chant or single clap when you score a goal or even a hat trick. So if the majority of fans, as you said, are not going to travel, then I think it's going to be a completely different atmosphere, because England fans England players are very used to the chants and the songs in the stadium. Brazilian fans know that there is going to be drum rolls, there's going to be a party atmosphere. So if the fans don't travel in numbers, then I think it will make a difference there, right?
But what I can say is that the stadiums will be full, no doubt. But the challenge is whether the supporting fans of those teams, especially European, will be there or not.
Absolutely.
Because Asia, especially India numbers to Doha, Qatar will be a record one. We are in top 7 right now, as from the January was the ticketing started. But now this is the time the number will go up, and we might be top 5, and that would be again a record, like a non-participating country, of that many fans. It will be some record.
Absolutely, and quickly as we wrap up our show, I'll go to each one of you and ask your 3 favorites of this from this FIFA World Cup 2022. Hardik, I'll start with you. Which 3 teams you are going to think will be there and thereabout for the trophy?
I think that England could reach the final 4, and it would be real hard for Southgate's men, but they need to prove their point. They reached the World Cup previous semi-final of the previous World Cup, reached the final of the Euro 2020. So they have a point to prove. They have good squad depth. They have good players. It's just they need to click together.
Yeah,
they need to click together. England could be one on my top 4. Second, I think France has a lot of talent in the team. The midfield is nice. Pogba playing upfield, attacking role. Kante doing the defensive work, the dirty work. Then they have good wing backs, Pavard and Hernandez. Then Mbappe is lethal in the attacking regions, and Benzema. So they have a solid team. So England and France. And then I think that Brazil also has a very good team. They have the likes of Neymar, Vinicius Jr. Then they have 2 interesting central defensive midfielders.
Fred is there.
Casemiro is there. Then Fabinho is there, who play for top teams in Europe. Then Fred is there, as you mentioned. Then they have 2 of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, Ederson and Alisson Becker. So, and they also have Thiago Silva and Marquinhos. So these 3 sides, I think, that are going to make a lot of noise in the World Cup, and they could reach the final stages.
Some good picks there, Shaji. What do you think? What will be your pick?
See, based on the current situation and the historic facts, my pick will be Brazil, then Argentina, then France, and either Spain or Netherlands. Netherlands will be, I'm taking, a bit risk in stating, but then they are the team, if they perform to the best, or they don't perform. And that's where I'm going to pick this 4.5, you say that.
Netherlands is seriously a good, interesting pick, because no one is betting on them at the moment. Brazil, as we all know, are the pre-tournament favorites for this 2022 FIFA World Cup. But Sandeep, your 3 or 4 picks for this tournament, because FIFA World Cup 2022, it doesn't get bigger than this.
Easy picks for me would be Brazil, England, France.
I know you are not going to go by the easy picks.
But for me, the 4th team, and I do believe that if everything works for them in terms of where they finish in the group, I wish they finish in the group number 1 and move on to whichever team they get in the knockouts. I think that would be Senegal. I somehow feel that Senegal has the power. I think they have reached a point, winning the Africa thing was one. Beating Egypt now was a very different thing. I think they probably reached a point where that extra 10 to 15% of confidence that the team has got. And when you look at Mane, you feel, you don't look at a footballer, you look at a warrior, So those are the things that really matter sometimes in a World Cup. So it would be fantastic to have Senegal. It's difficult, but it's imaginable. That's what I mean.
Absolutely, and FIFA World Cup is a dream stage for all, and I'm pretty sure Sadio Mane's team, after winning the AFCON, will not be satisfied. They will be they will be pushing themselves for not at least not winning the trophy, but at least be there in the semis. If they can win the semis, I think they will break the wall and announce themselves as the heavyweights of footballing world. But thank you so much, gentlemen. It was a fun show. Again, one of the biggest events in the world football is approaching. FIFA World Cup in November, December. The draw took place. You can rewind the entire show and watch all the draws and the discussion around it step by step. We will give you all the latest news and updates as well from the FIFA World Cup and in the build up to the tournament there. Thank you so much, Shaji, for joining us, Hardik as well, and Sandeep Mishra joining from via Zoom as well. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And for the News 9 sports lover, do subscribe our new YouTube channel, because that is where you are going to witness all the in-depth coverage and analysis from the sporting world, be it the IPL, be it the T20 World Cup or the upcoming FIFA World Cup 2022, along with all the bilateral series, the football tournaments, the hockey tournaments, the athletics that is going on, the crazy football, the crazy sporting events, and we got you all covered in that News 9 section. And for the FIFA World Cup 2022 draw, drop down your comments down below and let us know which team you are backing for this mega event. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.